welcome to the Pungo Prairie. Now, it's been kind of cold around here lately, and I've been burning through a whole lot of firewood because the only thing I got to keep me warm is my wood stove. Unlike maybe a lot of y'all, just got yourselves a sweetheart. Now, talking about sweethearts, Valentine's Day is almost upon us, and something that's great to fix up for your Valentine is my world famous Pungo Prairie Birds of Paradise, or you can call them lovebirds. But as soon as I finish getting this wood split up, I'm going to show y'all how to fix them too. So don't go nowhere, because you don't want to miss this. Now, cooking up these birds of paradise ain't like grilling up a hot dog. It's going to take just a little bit of effort. But I'm sure that your Valentine is worth it. Besides, it's going to be fun. Now, what we got going on here for the main event is 2 of these rock Cornish game hens, about 24 ounces each. Now, we're going to make up a rice blend and cornbread stuffing to go in our game hens. So what we got here is some long grain white basmati, wild rice, red rice, and brown rice. Okay, we got us a fresh rosemary sprig that we're going to put in this half a cup of rice blend while we're steaming it up, along with just a little bit of salt. Now, while we're waiting for our birds to warm up, kind of acclimate a little bit to room temperature, I've taken a cup and a half of water and put in this little pot right here, along with the giblets that were in our hens. And I'm just going to bring it to a boil here. Now, we're just going to simmer our giblets here in that little pot for about 30 minutes and make us up a nice broth that we're going to use for steaming up our rice and making up our cornbread stuffing mix. Also, we're going to cut up the meat after it's cooked from those giblets and use it in our stuffing too. And we got us a half a cup of just plain old ordinary cook on the stove top cornbread stuffing mix. Other things we got going in our stuffing mix. We're going to dice up these 2 spring onions. Going to dice up a 1/4 cup of this celery. We got a 1/4 cup of diced up water chestnuts, 1/4 cup of fresh mushrooms, along with a 1/4 cup of pecans and a 1/4 cup of craisins. Now, we're going to make up an orange sauce to finish our bird off with kind of a glaze towards the end of the cooking process. We're going to use some zest from the peel of a fresh orange. We're going to use 6 ounces or 3/4 of a cup of frozen orange juice concentrate. We got some golden raisins that are going in there, a little bit of sesame seed oil, a little bit of sesame seeds, about maybe a tablespoon, a little bit of salt, and a half a tablespoon of butter. A half a tablespoon of soy sauce, and a tablespoon of cornstarch that we're going to add to this little miniature bottle of Hennessy cognac. For our sides and garnish, we're going to roast up a couple of these fresh beets, some of these nice fresh organic string beans we're going to saute with some butter and garlic, and a fresh pineapple that we're going to have some fun with. We're going to drizzle some olive oil on our birds here, maybe about a tablespoon, and just rub them down good. Get both sides all coated up nice. See how I've taken these wings and kind of tucked them back under like that? That gives them a little stand that they can rest on. Just take that wing and cut it back under just like that. Sprinkle them down with a little bit of sea salt. Don't overdo it. Some fresh cracked pepper. And a little bit of this granulated garlic. Flip them over. Get the other side. A little more pepper. A little more granulated garlic. And just set our oiled and seasoned birds aside. We're going to preheat our oven to 380 degrees while we steam up our half a cup of rice blend. We're going to melt up a half a tablespoon of butter in this little pot. Take 3/4 of a cup of broth we made from our giblets. Add that to our melted butter. About a half a teaspoon of chicken base. In goes our rice blend. A little stir around. Our fresh sprig of rosemary. Put a lid on it. Turn that heat down just as low as you can get it. And just let it simmer in that little pot there over that very low heat for 13 minutes while we make up our cornbread stuffing. Add a tablespoon of butter to that little pot we cooked our giblets in. 1/3 of a cup of our broth we reserved. Bring that little pot to a boil. Add our 1/2 cup of cornbread stuffing mix. Just give it a little stir in there. Add your diced up spring onions and celery. Put the lid on it. Turn the heat off. And just let it sit till your rice is ready. 13 minutes is up. Turn the heat off the rice. And just let your rice stand covered in that little pot with no heat for another 13 minutes. Cut the tops off our beets. Put our whole beets on a little piece of tin foil here and drizzle them with some olive oil. A little sea salt sprinkle and some fresh ground pepper. Just roll them up tight in the tin foil. Put them in this little baking dish here, and we're just going to set them aside till we're ready to put our hens in the oven. Get our parsley chopped up. Okay, the second 13 minutes is up. We're just going to get our rice off the stove here. Discard this little rosemary sprig here and dump our rice into the bowl. Take our stuffing, kind of stir in the celery and onions, and add that. In goes our 1/4 cup of water chestnuts, our 1/4 cup of chopped up fresh mushrooms, our 1/4 cup of craisins, like dried cranberries, our 1/4 cup of chopped pecans, that little bit of meat we got from the giblets we chopped up, that in there, and about a tablespoon of our fresh up chopped parsley. Crack an egg and whisk your egg up. Get it all blended up nice. In goes the egg. Get that all blended up nice. Now I'm going to take about 3 tablespoons or about a 1/4 cup of this nice burgundy wine right here and add that into our stuffing mix. Maybe 1 more tablespoon of our dried cornbread stuffing mix. Blend that in. Now we're ready to stuff these birds. Open up that body cavity and stuff them with our nice rice and cornbread and all those fruits and nuts and oh my goodness. Now that's a stuffing, I'm going to tell you right there. Got the pecans in it. Stuffing nice and full. We got us a couple little pieces of this cotton string right here. Tie a little loop in that string. Go around like that. You got what's called a perfection loop. Right in here, grab his little knuckle. Grab this leg. Go around it. Make a little cinch in it. It ain't like he's going to be jumping out of the pan or nothing, but I just like to keep them legs together. Take a knife. Trim the extra string off. Okay. Take and place our birds right here on this little rack in this French roasting pan, and in they go to a 380-degree oven along with our already prepared beets. Now we're just going to roast up our game hens along with those beets in that 380-degree oven for 45 minutes. I'll put that rack in the upper third of the oven because we want it up there where the heat is so those birds roast up nice along with our beets. Now we're going to make up our sauce that we're going to use as a glaze when it comes time to finish those birds off. Over about a medium heat here, in goes about 2 tablespoons of butter I'm going to melt up, along with our 6 ounces or 3/4 of a cup of orange juice concentrate. A 1/2 of a tablespoon of soy sauce, a dash of sesame oil, our 1/4 cup of golden raisins, a teaspoon of our sesame seeds. Now I got black and white here. You can use just white if you want to. Give all that a little stir around. And a nice generous tablespoon of some good old honey. And a 1/4 cup of water. Give all that a nice blend in there. And we're just going to bring our orange sauce up to a nice soft boil. Now I'm just going to add our leftover stuffing into this little pot that we steamed our rice up in. Put the lid on it. Now after you're about 20 minutes into your cooking time with your birds and your beets, you're going to take that little pot that you put that leftover stuffing in and put it in the oven so it can bake. I'm going to take our little orange here and grate up about half of it to get the zest from this peel. Put our zest in this little dish right here and go right on into our little pot here. Give that a little stir. Now while the orange sauce is simmering in that little pot, we're going to carve up our pineapple. We want to try to get 2 nice even halves. Right on down through the top. Just like that. Now, I'm just going to kind of cut down at an angle where that core is along both sides. Just like that. Take it right on out. Now, go right around the edge. All the way around. Kind of at an angle so you don't cut through the shell. And then back at an angle this way. Save the fruit. Might help to use an ice cream scooper right here. That way you can get in there and carve that shell out nice. And what you got there now is the bowl that you're going to serve up your birds of paradise in. Now we're going to take about a tablespoon of cornstarch, put it in this little brandy sniffer, and take our little bottle of cognac and add it right here to our cornstarch, right in that little brandy sniffer. Take a whisk, dissolve it all up in there good. Get all them lumps out. Man, that smells good. Now we're just going to add our cognac and cornstarch to our little pot we're making up our glaze in. Just stir it around in there. Bring the heat back up. Now I'm going to add a little bit of pineapple juice that I saved from when we carved out that pineapple. See how it's thickening up nice on us? That's what we're going to use to make our glaze to finish off our lovebirds. All right, we'll turn the heat off. Oh, our 45 minutes is up. Perfect. We're just gonna take our beets out of the oven. Move our dressing out of the way a minute, and we gotta get them birds out. Now, we're just gonna spoon a nice layer of our glaze that we made up right over each one of these birds. Drizzle some down there on that end where that stuffing was. Want to get all the wings covered and the legs and on down the sides. You got plenty, so don't worry about it. Get the other one. Got them golden raisins in there. Stir around to the bottom. Get some of them put on top. You want them raisins. Okay. Back in the oven they go. Along with our dressing. For another 15 minutes or so that glaze can get a nice bronze going on it. We might check them after about 7 or 8 minutes and put another layer of that glaze. Now our beets have cooled down a little bit and I've got them all unwrapped from that tin foil. And I'm just going to slice them up here in about 1/4 inch thick slices. Now we're going to have some fun. I got these 2 little heart-shaped cookie cutters. We're just going to take these little cookie cutters, center them up on that beet, and cut right on down through it. Pull off the outside. And what we have here now is heartbeats. Sweet Becky doesn't call me her Renaissance redneck for nothing. Our birds are ready. I'm just going to spoon a little bit of this stuffing from our pot along the edge of our pineapple dish here. Kind of hollow it out in the middle. Now you don't need a whole lot of stuffing in these pineapple shells because remember, your bird's full of it. Now we're just going to dish up our bird. Add a few of these garlic string beans on the side of the plate here. Next, we're just going to arrange our little heartbeats right on our plate. Big one and a little one. Let's add one more right there. And because I am, after all, the Renaissance redneck, I got one more little touch. I picked up these gorgeous purple edible orchids all the way from Thailand at the Restaurant Depot. I'm just going to kind of arrange a few of those around on there. Come down here with a couple. One more, huh? Right in there, like that? What do you think? Now, is your Valentine going to wow when they see this or what? Now listen to me, fellas. If you make up these lovebirds for your sweetheart, don't forget to get her a nice present to go along with it. Now, I ain't talking about a box of chocolates or a diamond. Hey, You already got the flowers covered. They're on the plate. Get her what she really wants. Just try not to make her mad after you do. A little glass of our dog Blue. Dear Lord, thank you for making such good use of that odd rib we used to have and turning it into something so wonderful to balance out our lives as sweethearts, sisters, mothers, daughters, and wives. And thank you for this day to celebrate those nearest and dearest to our hearts. Please bless this beautiful meal that you have provided to nourish our bodies and strengthen our spirits for a life in Thee. Through Jesus we pray. Amen. Now before I dive into these, I might have to go make me a couple of phone calls. Hey, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. But one thing I know about my Pungo Prairie birds of paradise, that's one tasty tweet. Now you knew that had to be coming. And that, girls and boys, is what's cooking on the Pungo Prairie. Happy Valentine's Day.